boom, every week. Like there's that last little ting there.
I see what you did there. That last little ting.
There. That is a Freudian slip, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Hope This Wei Show. It's your boy Zeus sitting in here with you. And as usual, we've got my Bolo, if you will, Matt Chua. How you doing, Matt?
That means I'm gonna, you better not kill me off like later on in the show, because I'll be seriously upset. What's up?
Spoilers. We're only on episode 4, yo.
Oh yeah, that's right. I tried. See, four episodes of this. I tried so hard.
Damn.
I tried so hard.
It's all right. Drop the ball already, but it's no problem because there's no one better to pick up our slack, if you will.
Yeah, this is very true.
One and the only, the ever lovely, one of the best Warrior fans on the planet, Miss Rebecca Nishi. How you doing, Rebecca?
Hey.
Yes. How are things in Brazil?
Yes, fine. It's very hot here, and this time is a civilized time for me now, so I'm not with a feel of light face. I think.
Well, I'm happy we're able to go a little bit earlier for you this time. We're not starting at like midnight your time this time around for you.
But so, you are an honorary warrior. She has earned the name because she went in super long that one episode.
She really did. The truest warrior amongst us all. We will have to nickname her a toy, I think, at this point. Now,
one of the many strong female. That's her.
Yeah, exactly.
That's her.
Now, this is a big show for us today. We're reviewing episode 4, The White Mountain. We're going to get to the recap in a bit, but this is a big episode because it highlights one of our favorite characters on this show, and that's Bolo. Go ahead.
Oh, this is my time, right?
The yellow demon.
The yellow demon.
The yellow demon.
Bolo is in the house, brother. And if anyone hasn't seen Warrior yet and you want to find out what Bolo is all about, check out this right here.
Oh, yes.
About 10 years ago, word spread of a giant Chinaman fighting in the Trans-Con circuit. There was no one he couldn't take down. They called him the Yellow Demon.
The Yellow Demon.
The Yellow Demon.
My father had to see it for himself, so he traveled all the way to Utah to get a better look at this so-called demon.
One of the best shots in the entire series coming up right here.
Oh, here we go.
You see our man Perry Young looking up there?
The Yellow Demon.
Love it.
Such a beast.
Look at it right there. Look at the conflict in Rich's eyes, though.
Oh, that is face acting.
We talk about this so much on the show about self-internalizing and acting through the eyes.
Here we go.
Rich nails it here.
Look at that right there. Oof. Beautiful.
Dude, so intense, such a great scene, and such a huge warrior. So excited to bring on to the show with us the Yellow Demon.
The Yellow Demon.
Rich Ting, how you doing, Rich?
What's up, guys? Appreciate that.
Hey, man, this is awesome. Thanks so much for coming on to the show and sitting in with us and letting us fans chew your ear a little bit about this show that we all love so much. First, Rich, tell us a little bit about how you got this role.
You know what? This whole process kind of started as typical and as generic as they come. There was no meetings. There was no pre kind of pitch to me at all. It was, Justin Lin, Jonathan Tropper, and Shannon Lee and Danielle Woodrow reached out to my team. I actually read for Assam in the beginning. But I have a feeling that was more of a
Ooh.
screening process. You know, they just kind of wanted to see everyone read those sides, so to speak, and got the call back because they were interested in me reading for another character by the name of Bolo, and they just felt that what I had given them on my Assam reading, and I guess physicality wise and just overall vibe, fit more with the Bolo character. So then I read for Bolo, and we turned in that and got the call that they really liked me and brought me in for a meeting, and the rest is history. So it was pretty smooth, to say the least. Actually really didn't believe it at first, just because of the magnitude of who was behind this project. Obviously Bruce Lee and Bruce Lee Entertainment, as well as Justin Lin and Jonathan Tropper and Danielle Woodrow. And really had to pinch myself a lot throughout this whole entire filming process of season 1, and even till today. Like, you play that clip and I'm just smiling watching it, because there's so many memories, so many good memories. At the same time, there's so many weird things that happen in this business, as far as pitching a treatment, getting that treatment to a network, to a studio, casting it, getting it financed, actually filming it, and then finally having that thing be viewed by, millions around the world. It's not as easy as it looks. There's so many projects that, get filmed and just never really make it into the living rooms of the people around the world. So what I always say, I believe it when you can watch it, because there's so many projects that just never make that. So, the luck, we're dealing with Bruce, so, I knew it was going to happen, you know what I mean? So It's just, I'm still in denial a little bit that we did season 1, obviously season 2, but just grateful, man.
Now, you and I have talked about this before, but for those that haven't, talk to us a little bit about what it's like to portray a character like Bolo, who was, based on one of Bruce Lee's best friends in life.
Yeah. Not only his best friend in life, but I was a huge fan of him growing up as a kid. So, what I tried to do is not build it up too big, because then it would just be too overwhelming, and all the producers and the directors and the writers really gave me a lot of support in making Bolo my own character. There was definitely zero pressure to imitate or recreate, the notorious Bolo Young. If anything, the only thing I carried from him was his actual name in the script, which I thought was so cool that they kept his real name. But in doing that, I wanted to channel him in whatever way I could, and show respect and give gratitude to him, just because he's a legend himself. Obviously we're dealing with the whole Bruce Lee world, but Bolo has a huge fan base as well, and he's known throughout the entire globe. So I really tried not to get all up into the hype of everything, because I thought that would take away from the overall creativity. So I just kept it simple, and I've said this before, where everyone knows Bolo from his previous films and whatnot as kind of a one-dimensional character. Obviously, physicality plays a huge part with his character and his brand. So in order to kind of honor him in a different way, I wasn't going to, I'm not bigger than Bolo. You know what I mean? This is one character, one part, one project in my career. There's no way I could, make him any greater than he already is. You know what I'm saying? So what I did is I just wanted to make him a full character, and I wanted to show the audience that what you may know of Bolo Young, which is, this beast, who is not always a good guy, but then he's not always the bad guy. He's kind of always stuck in a pickle. You know what I mean? What I like to say is he's a loyal guy. And I wanted to show, there he is. I wanted to show that he's a human being. You know what I mean? He's vulnerable. He has his preferences. He can smile, he can potentially cry. He has feelings like all of us do, and just that he's not going to be this stoic kind of beast character, in the background, standing there, just kind of mean mugging everyone, And so that was my way of tributing Bolo and honoring his legacy.
And we saw that in that scene there, and I mentioned it to Matt and Rebecca about the self-internalization you see in your eyes as it comes to the point, you know, of the typical gladiator games, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah.
And you can see your character really struggling with that and knowing that it, you know, it's what has to be done. And it even, and I don't know if I'm just picking this up or making this up on my own, but it looks like you and I'm not sure the actor you're acting with, but it looks like you guys both share that moment eye to eye where it's like,
yeah,
you know,
totally.
man, I'm so sorry. And it's almost like he looked back at you like, yeah, I get it. Like,
yeah, and you know, and that's great that you point that out, and you know, a lot of the fans have expressed their thoughts and their praise for those micro moments is what I call them, right? And I already know, you know, the editing process is so vicious sometimes with us actors that, you know, we can do a whole process of things and maybe only a glimpse of that is ever caught in the final edit. So I had a small window to really show the humanity side of what was going on in that water pit. And, you know, that just comes from me creating a character, you know, creating a historical context to him and the one thing I wanted to show right in that sequence was the fact that, you know, even though it's not shown in season 1, that Bolo, he doesn't want to fight. No. He fights because he has to, not because he wants to, you know, and it's you know, it's like anything else, you know, just because you're 7'4", you gotta, you know, you're playing basketball, right?
Right.
And just because during this time, Bolo's physicality and his just stature, you know, amongst the other Chinese that came over during this time, he was just bigger and he naturally was skilled and he worked on that more as a survival skill as opposed to I'm going to compete and make money and kind of get out of this. You know, obviously that wasn't the reality. And so at the end of the day, I really wanted to show that he doesn't like doing this, you know,
right.
And neither does the other guy that I'm fighting. You know, we're both literally gladiators and just forced to entertain, you know, the upper class, so to speak, or the upper middle class, you know, and thank God for Father June for rescuing me. And, you know, and that plays great throughout the entire season 1 is that, you know, he got me literally out of that pit,
yeah,
you know, and got me in a suit, got me cleaned up, you know, got me a haircut, you know what I'm saying? Like got me food and everything. So just by saving my life in that respect, that's where the loyalty comes, you know, loyalty above all to the Hope Wei.
And you even say that to Assam at one point, or Assam says to you, "What? So he bought you like a hat or something?"
Yeah.
And you don't fool yourself. He owns us all.
You know, and that's the weird thing because you know we're all owned and bought, right?
Right.
Obviously, except Young June, just because he's blood.
But
even him, I don't. You know, he doesn't have a choice. You know, it's not like he's like, "Hey, Father June, I want to." You know, go be an engineer somewhere or something like that, right? Like, no, he's putting in work, definitely. So, you know, I think Bolo found the best of the worst situation he could, you know, and that's where I actually wanted the audience to feel sorry for Bolo, to be honest, you know, and I don't think that kind of emotion has ever been shared or related to Bolo Young. I don't think anyone really ever feels sorry for that guy, you know, because he's jacked, he's a beast, and he's just destroying people. So who's going to feel sorry for him? You know, you feel sorry for Jean-Claude Van Damme or his twin, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, or Bruce or anyone, you know, that, you know, like Bolo breaks that one guy's back and Enter the Dragon or whatever. You know what I mean? You're not feeling sorry for him. You know, so if anything, I wanted to show that side of him, like I said before, and really have the audience kind of accept Bolo in a different light.
Yeah. Sean Jarvis, thank you for making it, buddy. He says, "What up, gang? What's up, Sean?"
Oh, what's up, Sean?
Now, what about you guys? Matt, I know you got a couple questions here.
I got a whole bunch that are sprinkled throughout.
Are you ready though? Are you ready?
Yeah. Shit, I'm always ready. Come on now. No, but you were talking about like the auditioning process and how it was. Being a fellow actor, nowhere near your level. I'm
Come on, man.
I'm like
Come on, man.
level right
We're all
now.
students, brother. We're all students. Let's go.
Basement level. How did you like throughout that, you know, from getting the call to then the second audition to then finally landing, like those emotions are like hurricane? Like how did that roller coaster go from like the very beginning up until saying like you landed it, and then even from the landing it to like watching it and being like, holy shit, there it is. Like, how did that feel? How was all that?
That's definitely a fellow actor, artist question to another artist, actor for sure. Because a lot of people don't understand the process we go through, you know. And, you know, it's what I like to say. It's 99% denial and criticism, and that 1%, if you're lucky, you get that green light, right? So, to be just transparent, you know, throughout my career as an actor, as an artist in this business, I've really had to reprogram myself. You know, I come from a strict discipline academically, athletically. So, you know, the work I put in today, I'm seeing the results tomorrow. And obviously, you know, that in this business, what you do today may not see the results tomorrow. And you may not see them for months, years, decades, whatnot, you know. So in explaining all that right now, what I've done over the years is really just kind of build up an emotional wall to where I'm, you know, it sounds negative, but it's not. It's keeping me mentally safe and in the game and focused on what I have to do. But I really try to separate my emotional connections with any roles, especially auditioning or even booking it, until we actually get on set. Just because otherwise you're setting yourself up to just crash. You know what I mean? If I were to get hyped for every audition I did, I don't know if I'd be on this. I'd be in front of you guys right now, just because, you know, it's a vicious business, you know. And so to answer your question more specifically, it's basically, you know, I remember getting the call, and actually I remember vividly thinking, hey, I haven't heard back. You know, luckily, you know, with other auditions and other projects that we're obviously always going out for, you know, you do the Warrior audition, you do the callback, and then I forget about it. I've trained myself to just forget about it.
Oh, damn.
And I remember there had been a couple weeks had gone by, and I was like, hey, like, you know, we either hear a yay or a no, right? So I was like, yeah, we haven't heard anything, which is always good news, right? And then I think the following day I was driving, and my agent called me, and he's like, hey, you know, HBO's checking you right now as far as, you know, your SAG and all that stuff and doing a background. And I was like, and usually when that call happens, that means you're the number one for that particular role, and they want to book you, you know, as long as everything else is clean and you're in good standing, then the next call is usually, okay, we like to officially offer him the role. So even when I got that call, I remember thinking, I got to go to South Africa. It was weird. Like, that was the first thing that popped in my head, because, you know, I've been able to travel the globe doing what I do, and I had obviously never been to that part of the world. And I remember them telling me, you know, early on that this is going to shoot in Cape Town, South Africa, and you're going to be there for a while. And I was just like, you know, I was so ignorant about South Africa at that time. And so that's the first thing kind of popped in my head, because it's kind of like my own defense system, right? I didn't want to say like, oh yes, like, let's go. You know what I mean? Because who knows? We do the pilot and that's it. And then people are like, no one knows. And it's, you know, it's a great experience most likely. But at the end of the day, then it's one and done. You know what I mean? So even at that moment, I thought of South Africa, and I was like, wow, that'll be interesting, you know? And then we got the contract, we got the offer, we did the deal. And I think it became a little bit more real when I went to HBO and met Justin Lin, Shannon Lee, Jonathan Chopper, and Danielle Woodrow. And it was, I remember just sitting there, and Justin was looking at me, and he goes, hey man, can you get bigger? And I was like, yeah. Wait, what? No, because, you know, that's another thing. You know, I come from an athletic background, obviously martial arts, but more specifically football. Yeah. And ever since, you know, I was like 230 in college. Oh, there we go. God, look at that. I had to do that. You had to do that. Look at this stuff right here. Anyway, yeah, that's a long time ago. That's white. There you go. Well, look at that. I come from, you know, American football background. So, you know, I love the weight room. I love the gym. But, you know, especially when I started in this industry, I can't show up as an Asian dude that looks like an American football player, just because at the time I started this game, the roles were not there for me to play just a regular dude. You know, we were very classified, so to speak. And, you know, we've slowly broken those barriers and those kind of stereotypes. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, I had to train to be small, you know, once I got into this business. And so I used to always get the you know, I'd always be kind of directed or criticized by the director or the writers to be like, okay, Rich, you know, I think we need to downsize a little bit for this one. And I'm like, cool, you know, and I know my body so well that I can shrink, I can blow up, I can do whatever you need, you know, given some time. So when Justin told me that was like music to my ears, because I just looked at him, I said, and you know, of course, Jonathan Tropper's on the other side going, no, like I want him to be able to fight still. Like I don't want to sacrifice like skill and agility for size. And then Justin's like, how big can you get? And I'm like, well, how much do you need? And he's like, if you can put on a good 10 solid. And then Jonathan's like, but keep the agility and flexibility, you know? And so it was funny because I was like looking at both of them like, okay, but then it was great to hear that finally, because, you know, like I said, a lot of this industry is very mentally draining. And my kind of release for that and my kind of escape is the gym. And so it's also hard because once I'm in the gym, I've historically had to like, you know, hold back. You know what I mean? And because I can't afford to gain size if I'm auditioning for, you know, a lawyer or you know, like a banker or even like the Loving Dad, right? Like Loving Dad's gonna come in, he's like, this dude looks like he lives in the gym. He's not right. Get him out of here, right? So knowing that, I was like, wow, okay. And I remember it was like August. We had this meeting, and I remember we were going to shoot the pilot, I think, in November. So basically I had like 2.5 months. And anyone that trains or works out knows that you need phases. You need a bulk phase. You need a cut phase, you know, and it's almost an oxymoron to say, I need you to get big and ripped at the same time. You know what I mean? Because that just, I mean, I know some guys that I grew up with that can do that, just genetically are gifted, you know, where they pick up a 10-pound dumbbell and they just blow up all of a sudden. You know what I mean? But
I hate them.
I mean,
all them.
Yeah, exactly. So I just said, hey, I'm going to try my best. But, you know, obviously at the end of the day, we're on camera, you know, so, and that's the trick, right? Because actually the episode 4, I was the smallest I had been on that show, because I treated it like, I honestly treated that fight like a real fight. Like I had to weigh in and make weight at the same time, have enough endurance and energy to perform. But again, unlike UFC guys that do it for real, I don't have that 24-hour where I can weigh into this morning and then I can go eat and fill up. And then tomorrow night is, you know, we're on. I had to dry myself out and then go at the same day, you know? So I'm not complaining. It was a phenomenal experience and I loved it, but I'm just saying it was weird because I did bulk up as much as I could prior to the pilot. But then once I got there, I was like, okay, we're going to finish this pilot by December and then we're going to come back in February. So obviously December, January, and early February, I'm going to obviously keep training. So I had to be the size that I needed to be for season 1 by November to have that continuity back when we were in February. So to me, it was honestly more diet than anything. Yeah. You know, I have a pretty strict diet to begin with, but you know, like anything else, you know, people that compete, whether it's bodybuilding or like, or, you know, or even fighting wise, and you have to cut weight. I just put myself on a schedule, you know, and I was happy with the weight that I showed up with in Cape Town when we shot the pilot. And I felt light, I felt fast. And I said, you know what, I think I'm at a good point here physically. And so when, you know, because episode 4, at that HBO first meeting, they told me about episode 4. They said, you know, we have this great episode where basically it's your episode. It gives everyone context of where you've come from. You're going to have this sick, like, water pit fight scene, and you know it's going to be all like savagey and just like barbaric and just you know 1800s gladiator style, right? And I mean, if that's not motivating, I don't know what is. So I was like, you know, I'm training in September, like, you know, like let's go. So when we finally got to that episode, And we talked about it last time with Brett Chan. There's always variables shooting. There's always time constraints and problems that happen. And that was probably the hardest day, just because we were shooting another episode and there was some conflict there. But, that's where the prep comes in, right? I was ready to go. Brett had choreographed everything. We had been training for months and we nailed it. So, but yeah, that's the long story. But I only go into that detail because how it is, man. It's like, it's like you get the call and you're like, yeah, this is great. And even at the first meeting to showing up, doing the pilot, like I'm not a pessimist by any means, but we do the pilot and weird stuff can happen still. We come back, I came back to LA, I had 2 more months until I had to go back and I'm just kind of waiting like, am I going to get my schedule? Okay. Got the schedule, got the flight, right? Let's go. Then I land and then we do season 1, and then it airs on Cinemax and people are like, well, some people like Rebecca are tuning in, right? Who has been a faithful fan since day one, and you guys, but a lot of the world didn't get that notification, so to speak, right? And so then it's kind of over, and season 1's done. And that's why even after season 1 was done, I don't live in the past just as Rich. As soon as I flew back and I finished and I wrapped my filming, I was like on to the next thing. So then when it comes out, we kind of have to relive it and do all the press for it. And it obviously didn't do as well as we had liked as far as marketing wise. And so I kind of took it with a grain of salt. I was like, yo, that was epic, just to be part of the Bruce Lee family, to be part of Justin Lin's world, Jonathan Tropper's world. That was awesome. Moving on. And then with this whole renaissance of HBO Max and getting on that platform, it honestly feels like 2021 is when it premiered, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because we shot the pilot in 2017, and then season 1 in 2018. And then, now we're in 2021 and people are like, oh my God, this is a dope show, So that's why it's weird, but it's fantastic how it's worked out, and I'm excited to have people enjoy it and watch it, and just the feedback has been very humbling, to say the least.
We're all clamoring for season 3. We're all clamoring for
man.
We need a Bolo prequel.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Rebecca, you're quiet. You got a question as well?
Yeah. Well, you have done an amazing job, because your Bolo is not only a great fighter, as you said. Bolo Young also has feelings. He has emotions. It's not all about muscles. And your Bolo shows us some pain. You could feel his pain on your face. So I wonder about his past, his background, and I wonder if you and Jonathan Tropper ever talked about his past.
Ooh, I know where this story is going, and I've already got a picture set for this.
There you go. I need that exact stance right now.
I will let you take it. I will let you take it from there, Rich.
Yeah, well, first off, Rebecca, thank you for being such a loyal fan. No discredit to you guys, but you can imagine the cast. We get a lot of messages. We got a lot of tweets, a lot of DMs, and after a while, we start seeing the same names, and Rebecca's been one of those names. So just quick shout out to you. Thank you for all the support, everything you've helped us do, and you continue to root for season 3. We all appreciate it. I'm not only me. We all appreciate it. As a cast, we talk about people, and you've done a phenomenal job. So I appreciate the support.
Yeah.
You too, man. Zeus and Matt, but I gotta just give a quick shout out.
Man.
Hell yeah, Rebecca all day.
Hey.
She started the Warrior page.
No, and then even in being in Brazil, dude, that's sick. You know what I mean? Like I know we've reached all across the globe, but to have someone from Brazil, it's because to me in LA, Brazil just seems, it could be as far as South Africa to me. You know what I mean? It's just another part of the world. And that's really cool. So appreciate you and everything. Yeah, regarding that question. So first off, like I said, I always go into any character, and given what I'm given, I always like to create more of a backstory, just because it makes my character a full person, a full character. No matter what project I'm on, I just method wise, I do that. And that's part of my training. With Bolo, I had known that, you know, he was originally a railroad worker who came over in the late 1800s in search of work. His family back in China, he was sending money back. And, you know, he, like I said, he wasn't a fighter looking to fight. He was in the US looking to make money to help his family back on the mainland. And that was about it. And it just so happened that he had been skilled and trained, like I said, for survival purposes, that he was able to kind of stand out, obviously based on his natural size, but obviously his skill. And that's kind of how he got thrown into this whole, you know, underground railroad combat gladiator type of tournament. So using that context, you know, that's what kind of led up to episode 4 as far as what we were going to flash back to. You know, Jonathan Tropper, I always say this, he's one of those showrunners that we want him on set. You know, not to say we don't want other showrunners on set, but JT is, you know, when he's there, you know, he's he's our backbone. You know, he's coach, you know, and we just feel safer when he's around. And there was some parts where he had to leave and come back, and you know, we're just like, when's he coming back? And I just remember, you know, he was such an open book, and he's always like, hey, you know, whether it's on set, off set, you know, grabbing food, you know, back at the hotel or whatnot. He was always open for input, and he wanted it. That being said, I remember just as a character choice for me, I had gone up to him. I think we were shooting probably episode 2, and, you know, we're on one of the sound stages, and he was there, and I was early for my shot, and he's like, hey, how's it going? Like, what's up? I'm like, everything's good. And I was like, hey, you know, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, yeah. So we do, and we kind of walked down the lot. And I was like, hey, look, man, I need something to hold. And he's like, okay. And I was like, you know, given what we've discussed about Bolo's past on the railroad and whatnot, I said, you know, I came up with this idea about, could I possibly hold like a railroad spike of some sort? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, okay. And I said, because here's the thing, we don't have to show it, but to have that weight in my pocket, to me be able to go to it if I'm just, you know, in the moment, it can be used as a weapon, obviously, because it's a spike. At the same time, more importantly, just something that connects me to my past and my original motivation on why I'm here in this new world, you know? And I told him, I said, hey, I don't, you know, I'm not trying to bring something new that's going to be a distraction to the project. It's just something to internalize for me. And he's like, yeah, I love it. He's like, okay. And this is what's so cool when you're on a big show. You know, the next day I go to my trailer and the props guy comes in. He's like, okay, Rich, so we got all your nails here. And he had like a spread, you know, and I was like, this is, you know, this is dope. Like they had so, and they were so authentic. Like, you know, we come up with something today, someone makes a call, boom, it shows up. Right. Mm. And I remember, you know, we went through a bunch of them, and I found one that I was like, yo, this is the one, you know, and they're like, great. And so I took it. No one knew. And I just held it. In my pocket. It was part of my wardrobe. I actually have it. It's visible in certain scenes if you really look for it. And it was great. It was fueling me. You know what I mean? And even some, like, I remember Jason was like, what the hell's that? I'm like, it's my spike, bro. Like, don't touch it, you know? And like, no one knew. And then all of a sudden, like when shooting episode 3, we got the script for episode 4. And originally we had, you know, we have so many drafts of every episode. Mm-hmm. And in the original episode 4, we're sitting there eating. Assam comes in. We have this exchange, and boom, flashback. You know, the yellow demon. Boom, flashback.
The yellow demon.
Then, yeah, exactly. Cue sound.
The yellow demon.
Right. Yeah. And it was great. It was a great scene. I was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this thing. And then we got the rewrites, and it's like Bolo jams a railroad spike into the table. And I was like, oh, snap. And then it's like, what's that? He goes, it's a railroad spike. It's like Bolo used to work on the railroad. And then I was like, oh my God, he married this thing now. Yeah. Like, and I remember I went up to him. I was like, yo. Ooh. And he was just like, I love it. And I was like, oh my, I mean, this is stuff that I hear about from other actor friends that are like, oh, I had this like thought and blah, blah. And then they rewrote it and, and it happened on this scene. And so I just was like, this is cool, man. Because we're going to give love to something that, I thought of, and not necessarily to, like I said, to be a distraction. It was just something for me. And it just became this huge thing now, and even the yellow demon, dude. Like, I remember when I read it, I was like, the yellow demon.
The yellow demon.
I was like, yeah. And see, you say it like that. That sounds cool, right? But when I was reading it, and then I know Tobin says it, and I didn't know how Jason was gonna deliver it, because if it was gonna be like, oh yeah, like they call him the yellow demon, like, you know what I mean? And then see, if you recall, I say shut the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, does he say it as like he's making fun of me? Like, ooh, watch out, it's the yellow demon, right? And then when I was like, hey man, how are you going to say this? And he's just like, I'm probably going to just say it like, I'm going to throw it away. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you can do whatever. Just don't clown me, bro. And so he's like, okay. So he's like the yellow demon, then Andrew's the one who's like the yellow demon. And I was like, okay, I can go with that. And then all of a sudden, like, the fans just connected with that term, and it just blew up. It was such a shock to see the fans like response to the yellow demon. You know what I mean? Demon. Yeah. And so after that, I'm not gonna front. Like, I was worried about that line. You know what I mean? And it worked out. It worked out. So. Those are the kind of stories that happen, offset, and that's the kind of guy Jonathan is, and that's why we all love him, just because he's not one of those guys that's like, yeah, come to me and you hey, have a question. He's like, oh, I'm busy. He's not that guy. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's like, what's going on? And he's also the guy that was telling me from day one, and this goes to show you, I'm gonna go on a tangent right now because I just got to give it up to him.
Get it?
Like, he's the best in the biz.
Yeah, like when we booked it, he called me. And I was driving again. I'm always driving to LA. And he goes, hey, I just want to let you know, as of now, we have you dying in episode whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, however, that may be subject to change, but it's one of those deaths that's very crucial to where the story goes in season 1. If you don't die, we have a problem. Because we have to figure out now, it's a whole Assam, with his sister, or is he loyal to the Hop Wei? Like, it's one of these things. Because obviously, yeah, if it got out that, Diane's his sister in episode 7, then there's going to be a whole different deal going on. You know what I mean? So we had to keep that under wraps for a while. And he's like, unfortunately, you're the victim. He's like, but things are subject to change. So I'm like, okay. So as we got into it, we're getting close to that episode. He's telling me, you know what, you're going to die, but we're going to bring you back. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, cool, man. I appreciate it. And then, I just took it like real light. I'm like, cool. And then he kept bringing it up. Like, I just kind of dropped it. And I was like, cool. And then I had a reshoot just with Jonathan, actually, with that photo of was that the long? No, that was the Feng Hai Casino.
Yeah,
the Feng Hai. Yeah, and we had to do a reshoot for this scene, and Jonathan was supervising that day. And I remember we're at the bar. We took a photo. I've posted that for his birthday or something recently, and we took a photo because we're just talking at the bar, literally. And he's like, "I'm gonna bring you back, man." I'm like, "Cool." I'm like, "So does that mean there's a season 2? Like, we're not even done with." He's like, yeah. He's like, "There's gonna be season 2." He's like, "I can feel it." He's like, "We're gonna bring you back," and blah blah blah. I'm like, "Cool, man," And he's like, "Yeah, because this is I gotta fix this death thing." And that's where it's weird, because I've spoken about this on other things, and it's out now, so I don't have a problem talking about it. But this is where he's like, "Hey, I'm thinking of bringing you back as his twin," and that's where I was like, okay, cool, man. Whatever you want to do. Like, you're the boss. Like, do what you want to do. I'm here for you. And he's like, yeah, I got this idea. And that just was between me and him, literally. And I didn't think anything of it, and I just let it ride. And then eventually, I guess he had told some other people, and then people on the cast would talk to me. They're like, "Oh, that'd be sick," you know. And that was during season 1 of filming. And then it wasn't until after, and I started doing these kind of like live casts after the episodes when it first premiered, that the fans were like, "Oh my God, like you should come back as a twin." And I remember, I think Diane was with me, and we kind of looked at each other. We're like, I haven't said anything about that, you know? And then Diane didn't say anything, and I don't think anyone said. I was like, dude, they came up with that. Like the viewers, the fans. And I was like, yo, that's sick. But that was obviously before season 2 was even green lighted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, long story short, I don't know the background, but I just know that our writers table for season 2 was in a time constraint.
Yeah.
And, you know, things happen like they always do. And they just weren't able to fit that story into the season 2. And they were still telling me, like, I'm like, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm killed. I died. You know, I'm moving on. And they're like, we're trying to work it out. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well then work it out, and then tell me you worked it out. Like, I don't care for the updates. Like, I'm not begging you guys. Like, if it happens, it happens. And that's just the way my mind works, you know? And they're like, oh, dude, it didn't work out. I'm like, that's fine. That's totally cool. Like, no worries. You know, and so now once season 2 hit, and everyone was back there, and I was back in LA and other things. Like Jason, all them, where they would call me, they're like, "Yo, this is BS, man. We got to get you back," you know. And I'm like, "Okay, well, just let me know," you know. And then they're like, "Okay, season 3, you're coming back. Season 3, we're gonna petition JT and Justin, everyone. Like, you got to come back." I'm like, "Cool, man. Like, just focus on season 2." You know, and so with this whole Cinemax HBO merge and, you know, all the politics behind it and the business stuff, you know, things got a little weird. But now, I mean, you know, hey, you can't deny it, right? Like, the feedback has been tremendous. So, you know, anything's possible. Like, there's been no guarantees. There's been no one's told me anything. I'm just, you know, continuing my career. And but I always told JT, bro, I'm like, you crack the whip, I'll make the trip. You know what I mean? So let's ride. So, you know,
we'll I can never use that. I can never use that actual phrase. It just doesn't work.
Yo, Zeus, I'm so done with you, man. Come on.
You know, so but no, we'll see. Fingers crossed. You know, more importantly for the franchise, I hope season 3 does go down, just because I feel like so many people are aware of the show now. You know, and we have such a strong fan base, and all these petitions, and I see like things Rebecca's putting together, the stuff you guys are doing. It's mind blowing, you know, especially like in the time we're living, you know, with this COVID crap going on, and there's so many other distractions, yet people will take the time to rally behind our show, you know, which is like the ultimate gift to an actor that's on it, because, you know, like I said, I've moved on, you know, and I'm always here to talk about it and share my experiences. You know, but hopefully I'll be known for other characters as well in the future. Sure. You know what I mean? So, but again, if they need Bolo to come back, you know, maybe in a different lens, let's say, you know, in a different. I don't want to give, you know, any too much detail, but in a yeah, like, I don't know if he's gonna come back. Like, he's not gonna come back bigger. I'll tell you that. He may come back maybe smarter, you know. Maybe
the
smarter,
golden demon,
not the yellow demon,
the golden demon.
You know,
smart demon.
We'll see. You know, as for me myself, I just want to work with this casting crew again. You know, that's more important to me. You know, and if that can happen, I'm sure the fans will like whatever does finally evolve. So,
well, speaking of the fans, we've got a lot of comments here from the fans. So let's get to some of these here. Of course, we had Stephanie Young saying that who's always on the show. You're taking her spot today, Rich. So,
I'm sorry.
No, she's in Hawaii. She's fine.
Oh,
she's living her best life. This is bullshit.
We're screaming for season 3, she says.
Awesome.
Audrey, thank you for joining, Audrey. I think this is the first time she's joined the show.
Hey,
she says Bolo had no way out of that life, kind of forced upon him. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Totally.
And she also gives you a compliment, says it's an amazing show.
Thank you.
All of you did amazing work.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
This is the one I think we're all saying. Bolo needs to come back season 3, all patched up, maybe with a missing body part.
Yeah. Like my head. like just headless dude.
The headless demon.
Yeah, the headless demon.
Will
I have an
Corrigan.
interesting question.
Yeah, Will Corrigan. Also
I
says,
noticed.
hang on, I gotta throw them up there. Nice. Yellow Demon, we're getting a lot of those.
Yeah, cool.
That's my fault.
Would love to see you back on the show. We'd all love to see you
Thank
back.
you.
Hell yeah.
Let me see here, and I'm just going
Yellow
through all of this. Honestly, love it. Yes, it needs to change. And the resurrection of the YD. Oh,
The yellow demon.
glad. I thought it was just the D there. That was going to be a different story, different movie.
Oh, that's what we're
But
doing?
this is Warrior, so you never know.
Yeah.
Like I watched Banshee, and if you watch Banshee, you saw what happened to the albino.
Yeah, no, and also, you know what's so funny? On season one, I just remembered right now, like, I remember Perry was telling me on set, I was like, yo, man, because this was the same time that the finale of Game of Thrones was coming out, right? Because we were both supposed to premiere, we were supposed to be on Cinemax, and then Game of Thrones was going to be on HBO's platform, and it was going to be like, boom, boom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, man, I kept telling, like, I'm a little obnoxious sometimes, and I was like, hey, I think Perry's a sorcerer. I would just say that. Like every day I said, I think Perry's a sorcerer. And people were like, what the hell does that even mean? I'm like, I think Perry's a sorcerer. And Perry's like, I am a sorcerer. I'm like, I knew you were. I was like, so wave that damn wand and get me back. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, yo, if they can do it in that other show. And I've seen some, I'm not going to name them. But I was like, wait a minute. That dude got like shot 12 times. Like, and he went away to the mountains. You know what I mean? He lived with some monks. You know what I mean? They gave him some cool water that like rejuvenated him. You know what I mean? Like all that. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I appreciate the love from everyone, but we'll see.
Stephanie says, all serious mode, you've got a proud Asian jumping up and down about Warrior.
Oh, very cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know what? That's the main celebration, you know, is, you know, obviously prolonging Bruce Lee's legacy. That just even sounds weird as if it needs prolonging. I mean, it's Bruce Lee. But more importantly, you know, being part of the first Asian American production Western, you know, because people forget, like, this is a Western, you know?
Yes, it is.
And that's cool right there. You know what I mean? And so to be the first of anything is dope, you know, and like I said, the world works in weird ways, and timing wise, you know, all of us cast were either beginning our career, in the middle of it, or, you know, have been seasoned to finally just have the schedules collide and be available to do all this, you know, because our Asian cast represents the world. You know, you got facts. You got Vietnam right there. You know, you got Joe from Indonesia, Jason from Hong Kong. I'm from LA. You got Olivia and Diane from Canada. Hoon is, I think, out of New York. Perry's out of Oakland via New York. You know, Henry Yuck is out of Brooklyn. He's not out of New York. He's out of Brooklyn. He made that. I was like, Henry, man, where are you from, bro? He's like, I'm from Brooklyn. I was like, okay, cool. Got it. Yeah. So, you know, Henry's from Brooklyn. And, you know, it's just, it's such a global Asian cast that it was so cool because, I mean, that's what Bruce Lee's about, man. He touched everyone, you know, and so to have that kind of continuity in that family environment, you know, because we just came from all walks of life, man. It was really cool. And we all vibed. Like, there's no hype about that. Like, we vibed, you know what I mean? Like, it was real. Like, we hung out. We still do. We still keep in touch.
Oh, that's great.
You know? And I know, like, you know, I've said this before, like, I'm not to be pessimistic about or be pessimistic about this, but I don't know if I'll ever be part of another cast like this in a positive way, just because the timing, being in Cape Town, you know, the motherland, literally, doing something for the first time as Asian American artists in Hollywood, you know, under the Bruce Lee umbrella. I don't know, man. That's a tough one to beat. You know what I'm saying?
No, that is like fantastic, because me and my brother, we're half Asian, and we were saying about this show, like, this is kind of like our Black Panther. Like, there's never been a show that has really, you know, uplifted Asian Americans or just anything Asian at all to the height that this show has, to put it in such a positive light and empowering light, you know, because most of the other times were, you know, either minor characters or for serious characters. It's action based mainly. We're not really love interests, and we've slowly broken that mold here and there. But then to have this show come through and just be like, we're fucking tearing everything down, and it's just like, this is what we are. It's like, mwah.
And then I mean,
Jeff's kiss.
It's so crazy, like the perspective Hollywood has, like not only on other ethnicities, but on Asians specifically. I just think traditionally we're just viewed. We're not intimidating to a certain extent, and I don't mean intimidating as in like we'll cut you or we'll shoot you. Intimidating as like just being strong grounded. Having a strong foundation. You know what I mean? And I'm born and raised in LA. I went to high school in San Francisco. Literally, Chinatown was next door to me. And based on my upbringing, a lot of the toughest hood gangs I was around, they were scared of the Asian gangs. That's real. And so coming from that kind of upbringing where brothers be scared of the Asians, you know what I mean? Because they just do it differently, but that hype and that reality has never made it really onto the mainstream TV or big screen. You see your corruptor, your Fukinese this, you see your watching that, you see your triads, this and that, but it always seems so far away. Like, oh, I don't know anyone like Jet Li's character who's going to come over here with a bunch of beads and start, choke something.
I love the lethal weapon.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And they touch on it. They touch on it, but from my own experience, that's why even like that scene where we're walking down the street in, I think the pilot in episode 1, like that's real, man. I knew, and what's a little off of that is that, Andrew and I are a little taller than the typical Asian stature, what people think, and so we have a presence on camera, but the reality is a lot of the Asian dudes I knew that you didn't mess with, they were small, and it was almost like the smaller you are, the more dangerous you are, and
I always said that here growing up. If a big guy wanted to fight me, I would usually have a big smile on my face.
Yeah, exactly.
If some little guy wanted to fight me, I'm like, what's going on here? I'm good, yo. And Jason, he is shorter than us. And to me, having a guy like Jason who has that crazy mentality, that kind of spontaneous, like, he just doesn't care. He's just going to react, with that temper, like that's real, So imagine having like 12 Jasons, and some, you just need like a little spark to light that fire and it's going to go down. So that's what I really liked about Warriors, that it showed a different type of threat, It wasn't like Bolo, it's just like they're flexing, It's like, no, we're chilling. We're playing, mahjong or whatever it is, just hanging out, but all of a sudden someone looks at you the wrong way, it's about to go down. And that's reality, man, So, stay in your lane, right? And sometimes when you don't, stuff cracks off. So. You get knocked back into your lane. I see it's at top of the hour here. I know you got to get out of here.
We could do
a question here for you from the fans, though. Amy Lee asked us, and Amy Lee's a huge supporter. Big question here. When will you be on the GQ cover? Which edition should I get ready to buy?
Oh, she's ready.
Big facts.
I mean, I could be on, like, they did that thing there was like over quarantine, there was that whole Vogue thing that went viral. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, like, everyone was putting them. So I could be on GQ tonight if you really want it. Like, you know what I mean? But no, I don't. When they call, I'll be on it. I'll let you know. But no, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, they're Stephanie's down for that as well.
Oh, that's
you've
it.
Got a Hawaiian on you now, so
you got him now.
And love the knife work. Audrey says when those come out to play, oh boy, so hot. Yeah, Tobin's great with those knives. Yeah. I know you have to get out of here though because you got an engagement to hit up in about 10 minutes. So we will let you go. But Rich, always a blast talking with you, my friend.
Yeah, man. No, let's do it again, man. This is always a pleasure. Always fun. Man. I love having this interaction with the fans, and just because honestly, dude, I'm just a regular dude, and I don't have I'm always open for questions and whatnot. But when I see the response that we get from strangers, from fans all over the world, it's weird in a great way because I never think that what we did is ever like, I'm just happy we did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let alone if someone likes it, let alone if someone wants to petition for another, and all this crazy love is just, you know, it's not normal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not normal. So
It's the new normal, brother. It's the new normal.
Yeah, man. It's been a fantastic journey, and I never thought it was going to even last this long, you know? And it seems like it just started, just honestly, because of the whole HBO Max thing. And like I laugh because, you know, there's people, I mean, friends of mine from my studio or whatnot. They're like, I mean, I had one of my really good friends the other night, 2 nights ago. She texted me, all she wrote was episode 7, WTF, right? And I was like, yeah, you didn't, like, okay, cool. I didn't respond. I was like, sorry, you know, like, sorry, like,
What
I don't know, wasn't my choice, you know what I mean? So, but no, just to keep having those responses and those reactions has been really cool, man. And like I said, appreciate all of our fans and all of our following out there.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be back in the gym? I saw the thing because I was happy when my gyms opened up. How did you feel?
Yeah, LA County finally got its act together, man.
Oh,
you know, the
man.
scary thing is about that is I've had to like take it outside and just kind of go back to the basics, you know. And I made gains just doing lighter weight and just stricter form. And it's weird to be back in the gym now because it's comfortable, and you know, outside is not too comfortable. Luckily, I live in LA, so you know, we had 5 rain days this year. You know what I mean? So I had to adjust my schedule for those days. But
I was gonna say I got to do like push-ups in the freezing fucking cold. So
that ain't working. That's why I can't complain, dude. I'll get hate mail real quick. They'll be like, dude, you know, 55 is freezing for us out here. So.
Moana McAdam says, Rich, your character was awesome. Wish you could have lived longer. We all do.
Thank you.
Andy Lee, if got.
Yeah, exactly.
Snow. Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, that name, I was throwing around Jon Snow a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
It was Perry's a sorcerer and I'm Jon Snow. Like, make it happen.
I'm throwing those all in. Bolo coming back to throw down with Leary. Now, there's a fight I think we were all robbed of. Like, no offense. And we all wanted to see Assam versus Leary.
Yeah.
But my God, Bolo and Leary, like, your two fighting styles.
Yeah.
And we'll let you go. But what is your training, though?
For Bolo's training is he's the Hungar Kung Fu. So for people that don't really know, it's basically a form of the Kung Fu style that what Brett and I like to summarize is minimum movement with maximum impact. So, you know, it's kind of like, and I kind of wanted to foreshadow that actually in the pilot where I'm sitting down and Assam shows up. Everyone else stands up and I don't, because if I do stand up, then something's going to happen. So if I don't really go to block, like if I have to block and parry and then strike, I'm just going to strike before you can strike. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the mentality Brett and I used to choreograph Bolo's movements. But yeah, Leary fight would be dope. I want Joe Taslim, man. I've called him out too many times. I want Lee Young.
Just because you just want to show how insane you actually are.
People, I mean, there's so many standoffs with me and him, and there's a mutual respect that, you know, it went down. You know what I mean? So let's flash back and you know, Joe is such a great martial artist. You know, on a personal side, for as Rich, I want to have that experience with Joe. You know, because we're both training together, like side by side. I'm always like, bro, I want you, bro. You know what I mean? I don't even care if I win or lose. I just want that experience with Joe Taslim. You know,
and then Demon versus Sub-Zero.
Maybe Rich Ting is in Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, you know, so I want that to happen eventually, you know, because Joe, man, he's one of the most lovable dudes, you know. He'll hug me before he does anything else. You know what I mean? So that's why
Big dogs rarely bite because they don't have to.
Yeah. No.
You know, little dogs bark and bite.
Totally.
The way I was always raised.
Totally.
Rich, thank you so much for doing this. We've kept you extra long.
All good.
Everybody, do you have anything coming up that the folks can watch for you for, and where can they follow you?
Yes, but I'm working on some stuff right now, and we recently finished this show called The Old Man, which is going to premiere on FX via Hulu. alongside Jeff Bridges. Quick teaser, just because Jeff came down with a little bit of cancer, over the summer, so he's recovering for that, and they got to finish off shooting I think just a couple episodes, and then they can launch it. But it's the longest and most action-packed fight of my career against Jeff Bridges. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ooh.
And it's nuts. It's nuts. Like, it's honestly, when we were doing it, I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm fighting a 70-year-old Jeff Bridges, literally, and this dude is going to town on me. You know what I mean? So I can't wait, because I haven't seen the final edit of that either. So I'm excited to see that. I've done a bunch of posts, but they won't let me. They'll give me like clips of it. They'll be like, okay, we need this. We need sound on this one and this. I'm like, no, we gotta wait. But no, that's supposed to drop. So, and Jeff Bridges is a god. He was a pleasure to work with. God, a legend. Dude. And got some other stuff we're working on right now that can't talk about, but excited, very excited.
Especially in this whole,
yeah. So no complaints here. Grateful to be healthy, grateful to be working, and grateful to be on this show with you guys, man. This is great.
Awesome.
I loved it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Yellow Demon himself, Rich Ting. Thanks so much, my friend, for joining us. You always
appreciate
have
you
a spot here. And as we say, this is the Hope way.
All right.
All right, buddy. Peace out. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
So long.
All right.
Awesome. How good was that? How awesome is Rich Ting, man? Like, was that not literally?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah,
you sound great.
You were solid.
Right.
Yeah, you were solid. Wow.
Wow.
Like we got in depth with the Yellow Demon. Hop this way, Moana says. Yes, man. How
Holy
cool.
shit.
Yeah, man. That we just had Richie Ting on the show. And I'm here's my not so humble brag. He talked like him and I are boys. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there. I'm claiming it from now on. Anybody asks, I'm like, yeah, me and Rich Ting, we're boys.
Hey, that's a good humble brag, though.
That is a good humble brag, and that's one that I'm.
That is a solid humble brag.
Just what a sweet guy, what a smart guy as well. And
I'm sure my phrase is going to haunt his dreams anytime someone says Yellow Demon. Like that voice is going to be in his head the entire time.
Moana, yes, you do need to get him on your pod, and if you want, throw your podcast link in the comments here, and we'll put it up for you.
Rebecca, how did you feel? Because right out the gate, he was like, "You." Yeah, he was like, "You."
Like I'm that little guy of Minari, the actor, the child, when he got the prize, and he was like, "Am I dreaming? I hope this is a dream."
So cool.
That was me.
and think about it this way as well, Rebecca. He said that all the cast talk about the big fans and mention how you're in it. He's a fan of yours, is the way it sounded.
I was what?
So how does that feel? How does that feel to know that Rich Ting is like, yo, Rebecca right there, avid fucking fan, love her. Like that was more or less what he said in a nutshell.
I still can't believe it.
All right, so there it is, Moana Nui podcast. Sorry, just putting that out there for Moana who's listening. We don't mind giving a shout out to your podcast, especially you coming in here and giving some love to us here.
Big facts.
Ricky Ting. Yeah, man. So I'm really, really excited for Rebecca right now because that was
hell yeah.
I think that as much as you're as a fan of Warrior, I think the cast is that much of a fan of you as well.
Yeah, that was hinted at low key
a lot.
It was cool. The big takeaway from that I actually learned was when we got in our little acting bag or whatever, like how he said that he was able to really separate and generate that mental block. I would have loved to been I would have loved to kind of deep dive into that. Like how long, that would have, I was like, okay, I would
Acting
love
is
to
one of
know
those-
I would love to know your little trick because I need that.
Yeah. Acting's that weird thing, like, because I did a lot of acting growing up as well, and was kind of like my first and only passion, honestly. And I have never ever had it in my life like I have when I've been on stage and getting lost in a role.
Mhm.
Like, and I don't know if it translates quite the same way in front of a camera as it does on a stage, but I could only imagine like getting lost in the Bolo role, especially there in that big pit fight that he had in which he filmed that back in 2017.
Yeah. Well, he was just the way that he was describing it and how he was saying, like, how he was getting like prepped for it and like, what he was doing. And like, even him, like how, when Rebecca was asking, like, what was the backstory, and he was kind of diving deep, and then how he threw out like the intelligence of Rich as an actor, where he was just like, I think it would be cool. Like, I need something like to almost ground me to actually legitimately hold. And that got brought into the show. And it's just like, holy shit. Like it's crazy.
Amazing.
It is crazy.
Yeah, he is so good. What was your biggest takeaway, Rebecca?
My biggest?
Yeah, what was the biggest thing that you took away from our conversation? Like, what stood out the most for you?
Being in his presence.
Mostly. I know he said so many different things, and he's very smart guy. He's very intelligent person. He's not just an actor,
Right.
handsome and strong and all that. He's a lawyer actually, and
Yale graduate.
Yeah.
yeah. And I love when they speak about the relationship with Jonathan Tropper, the collaborative way he worked, and he was like, a big father around the set. That everyone was like chill when he was around, and he wasn't. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, I hope he comes back soon." So I imagine it's a nice relationship. I'm very jealous when they post the BTS, videos and photos. They all having a lot of fun in the set and in the dojo training. I'm very jealous of all of that.
They're a very tight cast. Like, anyone who follows them on social media, they're out together a lot, and they haven't been filming this for almost a year now.
Yeah,
Probably over a
he
year.
was mentioning like how they talk and how like the real tight knit they are, and he said like he's never going to be probably part of like a close cast like this, like almost like a family and like vibe on what he developed. And it's just like it resonates. You can see it clearly. Like they really do fuck with each other. It's not like, oh hey, here's the job, on to the next, bye. See you when I see you. Like they do heavily fuck with each other, and I think that's fantastic.
It's a true family. Like it really, really seems like that family dynamic that other shows you'll hear them talk that way, but they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Where this seems legit, like right down to every single character.
Oh, it's definitely genuine. It's definitely genuine.
Yeah.
Zeus, I know he's your boy, but was there anything about this particular like interaction that you
I mean, I had when we did our first interview, and shout out to Brett Chan. Those of you that don't know Brett Chan, he's a fight and stunt coordinator on Warrior. One of the absolute best in the business. This is him right here showing off some of his skills there. Like, he is a badass. But we had talked ahead of time, and we talked in our interview about the Jeff Bridges thing, which is awesome. So that was good to hear it again, but to hear that he's got some more projects on the way, and to see the look on his face and in his eyes of how excited he was about these upcoming projects, I'm excited to see, because I'm thinking we got to be talking leading role or supporting character at the very least. And who deserves it more?
Oh, big facts. Well,
Like,
I was
great
looking at his
actor and a great guy.
Well, his thing, the stuff that he's posting up recently, where he's looking like a fucking cowboy,
Yeah,
living his best life in the desert currently. He has this thing called No Name and Dynamite Davenport. They have it listed on IMDb as him being the lead character, the lead role on there.
really.
Yeah, I am on IMDb right now. So if this is lies, blame the website.
And
But
what about the biggest? I'm sorry, you're reading.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The biggest fight of his entire career with Jeff Bridges. Oh my God, I want to see
Right?
that.
The Big Lebowski,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I mean, you got to feel at that point you're living your best life. We're talking about a guy who went to Yale, which is Ivy League as it gets.
Prestigious.
Quarterback for Yale.
Mm-hmm.
Gets his law degree as well. He's a lawyer. Becomes an underwear model, and ends up getting to be in this epic and historical show, Warrior. And I don't think that's overselling things by calling it a historic show, because this is Bruce Lee's show. This was the pitch that he sent out there, and we're not getting any other Bruce Lee shows. So this is very historic. And that's another reason why I think it's so important that we get that season 3, because there are no other ideas coming from the master. Unfortunately, that ship has sailed. And maybe we can get some great ideas from Shannon, because Shannon's fucking brilliant as well. But, I mean, like Moana says right here, it's legacy. It's all about legacy right now and continuing that legacy. And that's what HBO needs to start thinking about as well. They have to be hearing the rumblings of the people who are just picking up on it now. And, well, you know best, Rebecca, what was the last time you checked? What was the petition at? How many signatures?
50,007.
Oh, wow.
57,000.
57,000.
And the goal is 70,000. So we are close.
Yeah, we're there. We're knocking on the door. Go out, sign the petition, folks, if you're watching. But this is, like I said, it's a legacy that needs to continue. And it's a show that Shannon made sure she had the right showrunners on board with her to continue her father's dream. Moana's saying it's above 58,000 right now.
Ooh!
Wow!
Damn! Way to go, Warrior fans! Let's keep it going.
And the first 2 episodes are free on YouTube
if you're in the States.
Oh, only in the States?
Yeah, we don't get it here in Canada. I tried
not
to.
in Europe.
Oh wow!
I don't know about Europe, but yeah. We will be announcing exciting initiatives to activate Itchy Onion movement soon. Love hearing that, Amy.
Let me know.
At the forefront as well, trying to get the word out about this fantastic show.
I share the compliment. I share the compliment that Rich gave to me with Amy. She is leading many of the fan movements. She's great.
For sure. We see her a lot everywhere. I don't know if she started the petition. I know she's always one of the first people to share it, though, and to ask people to sign it. And folks, if you can, go out, find that petition. Send a request. If you're watching this show or you're watching it later afterwards, go on to Facebook, look for the Warrior group, the fan group, send a request, join in, and you'll find the petition there. You can sign up, you can share it, and you can get us up to that 70,000.
I'm sure Amy is going to paste here right now.
And Amy,
she's going to paste in the comments right now.
Yeah, Amy, post the petition in the comments, please. And Amy, don't be sorry at all. That's awesome. We all want to see more of this show. Now we're supposed to be doing a review of the last episode, or of episode 4. Do we?
I forgot about that.
So here it is. It's posted here in the comment section here. If you're on Facebook, you'll be able to see it. Go to Ryan's All Things Geek on Facebook. That's not a cheap plug for my page. It's just the only place I could share this video. So I'm sorry.
Technical difficulties have only allowed that page to share this episode. So
I do apologize. So you can go there, or you can go to any of my other shameless plug pages, and I'm sure it's being shared there as well. That being said, though, there it is. change.org/p/Netflix -save -warrior -and -get -season -3 -confirmed. I think we could have done it without those dashes.
Yes,
Could have been done without all those dashes.
And most importantly, please stream it. Please watch it. Please share it with people, word of mouth, on social media. Just kind of do whatever. Like, I know I'm only hearkening back to the clubhouse that we were, had the honor of joining into, where they said that, it's a small step compared to what they're trying to do behind the scenes. But, if they do see the outside and the general public actually really, really wanting to see a season 3 or to continue this, like they will take note of all of everything.
They need to take note. They need to. This is not the uprising they want to deal with, let me tell you. Sorry.
Between this and the Yellow Demon, I'm just a walking meme in this entire group.
Let's get into this episode, and we're going to blow through this quickly, even though I've got a million pictures and assets for it. But let's get to episode 4, The White Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we start off this episode with our boy Bill, a little dark here. People can't see it, but that's the way it's supposed to be, because Bill is there at the casino, down on his luck and down some cash as well. We're starting to see his gambling issues quite a bit there. And he runs into an old mate of his who stakes him there, who happens to be working for the Chinese casino. What are you guys thinking right off the bat here? What are we thinking of Bill? Like, we're 4 episodes in, and I go back and forth on Bill like a reed blowing in the wind. I don't know what's with an analogy, but it was better than what I was going to say. Trust me. But what do you guys think of Bill at this point?
Well, at this point of season 1, we don't know much about him. So you begin to think that he is like that corrupt cop and very bad guy, the really, enemy of the Chinese. And that's it for now.
Now, Matt, did he have any redeeming qualities at this point too? Like, we've seen some good signs of good from him in the first 3 episodes, but that wasn't until the failed attempt on Assam's life in last episode.
Yeah,
in the jail cell.
I'm from when we get this opening thing and you just see him like really down on his luck. I honestly kind of felt bad. It was just kind of like, damn, like this is what this dude kind of deals with internally from behind the scenes of whatever we were seeing him act like, with Assam and everything else. Cause that was more like up front. This kind of is supposed to be like what he's really doing. Mm-hmm. So I really felt kind of bad for him, because it was just like, shit, like this guy's got some real deep inner demons that he has to deal with. And it was kind of like, I wonder if this is what he's been kind of using to kind of keep himself up and do these fucked things almost. And it's kind of like, maybe he's not all too bad. So
yeah.
And I think in this sketch of Bruce Lee, he describes Bill as sometimes nice, sometimes bad. Sometimes he helps Assam, sometimes he's like Assam enemy.
And a lot of times it's that awesome enemy.
Yeah. But it's quite the way Bruce Lee described him in his catch. He created Big Bill. He's one of the characters that he created himself.
Played awesomely by Kieran Bew as well. And congratulations to him and his wife on the newest addition to the family. I think we've said that every week, but we'll keep saying it till
my wrestling cup.
Till the season's over. Till we're done 2 seasons here. So afterwards, Bill's taken outside by his buddy and given the boots and told, you've got 2 weeks to pay up. And that's kind of where we leave things from there. And we join Assam and the rest of the Hopway. Assam's recovering from the beatings he took from Father June last episode. And and Jason Tobin here, young June, decides to tell him the story of the Yellow Demon.
The Yellow Demon.
And as we saw many times, and we watched the video earlier as well. And this is, like we said, it was some great acting. It was shot beautifully, and just a great overall fight sequence that we kind of got into. So I'm going to just blow over this part. No need to kind of talk about it again.
And Jason did actually really well as like the voiceover narration for that. I thought it actually worked pretty well.
And Perry looked great when they younged him up.
Oh, he was just like
toupee,
black hair.
Black. Like, yo, I'm here being my sorcerer self.
Exactly, and the story finishes up, and Bolo tells the story of why he has the railway spike. Of course, we just had Rich tell us that story himself for how that happened, and it all follows up with him telling Assam, "Hey, maybe we should go a round or two." And Assam's like, "Fight the Yellow Demon?" Which is complete sarcasm on his part too, right? He doesn't mean that at all. Like he swept Bolo in the least.
Do I look?
A few seconds before that, when Young Jun finished the story, he looks at Bolo with kind of compassion look when Young Jun says that he always killed in the end and got the bonus. I felt like Aston looked at him like a bit of compassion because he is a fighter as well. I don't know. My feeling.
No. I could see that. Like they did share that affinity, and I think it goes more than even just that they're both fighters, but they're both members of the Hop Way, and both of them being so close to Father June, they're going to share some bonds. I look at them more as brothers, that don't get along with each other. Like the old brother who follows the father's rules, and then the young prince who's going to get everything, who just doesn't give a shit about anything. It's basically Harry and William. Is that their names? Prince William and Prince Harry? Yeah.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to ask, and I thought my microphone was cut off. I thought I had some problem during the live before, and I noticed that Bolo always wears the black shirt and the other one's white shirt.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. But maybe that's to signify that he's Father June's number one.
I was gonna say that's why, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Maybe he's the right hand.
Now this was kind of cool afterwards. We saw Assam leave, kind of crack wise at Bolo. And then he and Young Jun share a molasses smoke outside. And Assam gets a little fucked up, as he says right there, like, "What are you giving me?" And my favorite part is next is he looks out on the crowd and sees a vendor who's sewing. And look what the vendor's sewing, according to Assam. There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. Assam's completely hallucinating at this point and feeling great about life. Decides he's going to go take a walk and clear his brain a little bit. And that's where he runs into our boy Jacob. Now, while that's happening, Mai Ling is meeting up with Chow. As we see here, Chow tries to do what Chow does. Here, buy something for me while you're here. He's the ultimate opportunist, is Chow. But we see that she starts talking about, forming a new alliance with some people that maybe she shouldn't.
Yeah.
Matt.
Long Z. Oh, Long Z, no. I'm sorry.
Not the Long Z.
The Feng Hai.
The Feng Hai. Exactly.
And do you remember the story about them?
No, tell us the story.
They believe, oh my God, I think it's the end of an episode that Damon, the Irish guy, tells Bill this story. In this scene with Chow, he says, the China Wall was built to avoid this kind of people, the phone.
The ancestors of Genghis Khan. That's what it was.
Yes, that's what Damon tells Bill in the end of episode. Yeah, they believe they are descendants.
Yeah, and
imagine that.
They are crazy. So Mai Ling is asking Chow what he thinks about, the Long Z forming some type of alliance with them. And Chow's like, nah, man. Like, no, man. Like, you're crazy. Like you said, there's a reason why they are the reason why China built the Great Wall. And it just kind of goes from there. And they leave. And we're suddenly at a Toys. And we're seeing police kind of get there with Buckley. But Buckley is racing through there and is extremely upset. And he opens up the door to find the mayor. And I'm sorry about this picture.
Oh, my God. So embarrassing.
I'm sorry about this picture, but I didn't direct this episode. I mean,
I don't know in English, but in Brazil, we say she's holding a console.
She's holding a console?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's definitely got the PlayStation in her hands. Wrong kind of console. I'm a dad, by the way. That's why we'll do these dad jokes all the time. Wow, though. So we find out that the mayor has his own little fetishes. Not only does he like his Chinese ladies, but he.
Let's wait for Matt to.
He's a
put
receiver.
Himself together.
Yeah.
Come back.
And all the power to him, but this is back in the day, right? So obviously we're fit. Is he in the closet though? I don't think so, right? Because he tries to grope his wife on numerous occasions, and he's in there with female prostitutes. Just
we as the audience see him as he's not, but I think in the show's eyes, he's been keeping this kind of real low key, and I think it's only Buckley that's the only one that really knows.
Right. And Buckley,
so technically everything that we're seeing as the audience is not public knowledge to anybody else.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't remember if it was previously, but he enters with a mask when he arrives at a place. He usually wears a mask. Yeah.
He wears some type of, so he can cover his face so people don't realize it's the mayor walking in there, even though he has a very distinct body shape and size. I think people who knew him would know it was him, is all I'm saying. Right after this, though, Buckley gets him out, and we see the police get there. Not Bill, not Officer Lee. It's another, department of the police get there. They're not nice. These are not nice guys. This is Warrior, though. We're not expecting anyone to be nice. But this one cop, one of the Long Z, pulls out a hatchet. All the cops pull the gun on him. The main cop pulls a gun on him. And he puts the hatchet down, realizing that he's outgunned. So you figure that's over. Sadly, it was not. That cop shoots him in cold blood. And if that wasn't bad enough, this is the part. This is how good the writing is. Because how angry did this scene make you guys? After
I was
cold blood.
I was pissed. And I know, I know, you know, with seeing that, it's like, it's a play on words, but no, I was genuinely upset. I was like,
yeah, disgusting. Very. I wanted to punch him.
And no doubt, and it makes you wonder how accurate, or there's motherfuckers out there that think that way, especially back then. You think of the KKK and shit like that, and some of the atrocities we've seen. So to see this isn't so much to look at it and be like, oh, there's no way that happened. You see it and you're like, oh fuck, this shit probably happened all the time, and that gets you emotionally, and as emotional as that makes you, and as angry as that makes you, that is just how great Tropper is as a writer, honestly, to evoke that kind of emotions out of their viewers. And I'm not Asian, and that shit fucking pissed me off. So I can only imagine, right?
Yeah, but like you said, it's a testament to the writing. Like I felt my fucking frustration and Saiyan rage just build up. But then, when you kind of take a step back, and me looking at it from from acting eyes, it's kind of like, damn, that's fucking good.
So good.
That is so good. Like on all and just on all aspects, because fucking the acting world is a team sport. It might focus on the actors, but it is, the lighting got to be right, camera angle got to be perfect, writing got to be good, editing got to be solid, and everything else like that to create like that tone or mood that you're trying to get. Just that little thing, it's just like, oof, well, that's good.
And right after this, we see a toy for what I think is the only time in this episode. And this is where the officers already left the room. Lee was not happy seeing him, execute the hatchet man there. And the toy's coming down, and Bill's like, hey, everyone's arrested, including you. And she hands him an envelope, basically, and everybody. And they do not arrest her. They let her go. And this, you can see the look on Lee's face, and Lee's not too happy with this. But we'll revisit that a little bit later, because the next scene that we get into is Andrew Koji, Assam, finally showing up at Penelope's place where he's beckoned. And I chose this scene here, and I took a screen grab of it just because of that beautiful artwork in the back. I don't know what that piece is. I'm sure there's some kind of significance to it because they highlighted it.
Mm-hmm.
But what a great shot right there. And this was some great, solid acting here by both Andrew and the actress that plays Penelope. I forgot her name offhand here. But this was a really touching scene between the two of them that leads into the two of them really touching.
Johanna.
Oh, you're on a roll today, aren't you?
I know the dad in me is strong. The dad.
You are on a fucking roll.
Johanna, she's brilliant. She really looks like innocent, lady. She's very sweet. Yeah. I like this couple.
Yeah, me too. And we'll get into it later in this season and next season. I was really rooting for the two of them, though. Like, definitely rooting for these two. They have such great chemistry on screen.
I thought that it will be a love story, one of those big love stories.
That takes forever to get to. Yeah. Like Jim and Pam on The Office. So while these two are knocking boots, if you will, there's a dinner going on between the Long Zi and the Feng Hai. As we see, this is the first time I think we see the awesome Dustin Nguyen on screen here. And he's just the second-hand man here, we see. And this is all about them trying to get together and form the two groups. But the guy in the middle who's leading is just not hearing anything that Mai Ling has to say. He will not kowtow to a woman, in his old school ways.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's so smart. And then we notice a little drop of blood as Mylene says, I knew you weren't going to sign with us. That's why I already killed you.
Amazing. Just drinking her tea.
As you said, exactly, right there. Drinking her tea. And as we see the blood filling his eyes, this was just kind of the beginning of everything. And then we notice Dustin's in on it as well as he takes out the remaining guards there. And this might be my favorite shot of this entire episode. But after all this, just before Dustin sits down, this face right here on Joe is just so like
Joe fucking Taslim and his silent charisma.
the coolest motherfucker on the planet, isn't he?
Sub-Zero.
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 So you got to say it like the Yellow Demon.
My apologies.
It's all good. But what a great little scene there, and we see that Dustin was in on it all along. This was his way of taking over his respective gang, and not everybody was happy about this. Obviously, Hong was upset because nobody even told him about this, and I love like he's like, man, you didn't even tell me about this, and Joe. There it is again.
There's the fucking
There's that perk again. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And he's like, would you have gone through with it? And I think Hoon had the best line there, though. He's like, well, at least I would have charged more.
Yeah.
Always business with Chow. Always business.
So good.
Yes, I love Joe. Everybody loves Joe. Joe is fantastic. I tell you.
At this point, he's a little bit shy yet. I think in this episode, there's the scene when he was fighting with lots of guys, and Miley come down in the stairs, say, "We asked for murders, and that's what we get."
Yeah.
Just beat everyone. So he's beginning to show up himself.
Starting to come out of his shell a little bit. His character, at least. So that was a great ending to that scene there. Fast forward to one of the pubs where Buckley, they're not even at the pub. I think they're at the police station, and Buckley is just in his glory, gloating about this big raid that they had there at a toys place. And Lee, they're processing someone and going to chop off the ceremonial ponytail. And Lee's like, yo, man, like, you might as well take the man's soul. Like, this is how invested Officer Lee is. He gets it. He's like, you're going to take this guy. You might as well take his soul at this point. And what does the douchebag in charge police officer say? Get in that picture, Lee. Get in the picture as we take it. And Lee did not want to do it. He said he didn't want to do it. And then Bill's like, get in the fucking picture. Look where Lee is.
Right in the
back
Tropper,
where you can barely see him. Sorry, Rebecca.
Jonathan Tropper likes to put some mystery and doubts in our heads. So we are beginning to think what Lee has as, that what he's hiding.
What's he running
from? He
from?
doesn't want to be in the picture. When Bill asked him, what are you doing here? What are Georgia guys doing here as a cop? Aren't there bad guys there for you to chase? What are you hiding from? So don't mess with my business, and I don't mess with yours. And he is with that face like, yeah, I'm hiding something. And there's the scene when he is waking up and sees someone in his side, but it's like a flashback really fast, and you don't know if it's a man or a woman. That's how I saw. I was like, I don't know. And Bill's wife asked him to, don't you have any woman waiting for you in Georgia? And he says, no, nobody, not a soul. And she says, oh, what a waste for a handsome guy, young guy like you. And he just smiles. So you think.
I feel like Officer Lee's the most sympathetic character on the entire show. Like I don't feel that I feel like he's the one I feel the most for, and just because all he wants to do ever in his life is the right thing, and the more he tries to do the right thing, the more the rest of the populace, or at least the general populace, rages against him and doesn't want him. Like he's raging against segregation in the South. He's one of the only ones in the back in the South during the Civil War that is against slavery, and he comes here and he's against, tyranny against the Chinese. He builds up, and he, while he's doing this, he's alienating himself from his Irish counterpart, police officers that he works with. And it's already hard enough because he's coming from the South, who they just fought in the Civil War against. So for me, he's one of those characters that you just want the best for him, honestly. You're just like, oh, please, just let Lee make it out of this alive. Like, if this goes on for another 5 seasons, I don't want to see Lee die, honestly, unless he turns really fucked up after the end of last season. But we won't get into that. Yeah, Matt, I know. So this episode ends up, we see, and you can barely see it here, but this is Mai Ling and Assam meeting up yet again. And I think this is really their last meeting where they kind of meet up together by themselves. And this is kind of the last time we see them as siblings, if you will. Because afterwards, the line has been drawn.
Yes.
You might be right.
Episode 5. I remember that is specifically because I cried a lot with them and other characters. There's Chow and I can't spoil. Okay, but there is one conversation between them, but it's very far from this episode.
Yeah, and it takes us a while to get back there, and that's a great moment too. But yeah, I'm with you. I won't spoil that either. This happened as well while they're in the carriage together. Mai Ling says to Assam, "I'm going to save you one more time. I got you out of jail. I got you one more time." And here is a thing for the Pacific Railroad. Get out of here. Just get out of here before you die, because I can't keep my men from killing you any longer, because you are our sworn enemy. She says it. You came here and you joined up with my enemies. You're fucking the mayor's wife. Not a bad first week or whatever it was.
Not only a white woman, but the mayor's
yes, that's
wife.
right. Not only a white woman, but the mayor's wife. Like, just insane.
That's sticky. Getting that sticky.
Get that sticky.
Let's get sticky. It shows how Assam is not like Bruce Lee characters, because I've seen some criticism about Assam is not like Bruce Lee or whatever, and he wasn't trying to be.
No, he's trying to be.
He wasn't trying to be the copy of Bruce Lee, and his character is very not like the Bruce Lee characters. Bruce Lee characters were always, like saviors, very good guy, and Assan's not. He's a rebel. My Ling just said, you came here, you just already done like 5 shit things. What else?
Yeah, exactly. Well, so we saw there, Mai Ling tells Assam, just take this ticket and go. I'm saving you. And Assam, not having it. And that was basically it for them at that point. Now, this isn't the last scene of the movie or of this episode. The last scene comes with Bill at the bar there. Lee approaches him and talks to him about, so we're taking bribes now because, not arresting a toy. And he saw him get that. And Bill was like, yo, this is just kind of the way it goes. If you want to survive here, and you see him with the money there, if you want to survive here, this is the way you have to do it. You have to play the game, basically. And I'm paraphrasing. But he was like, you're young, you're a good guy. And this was the first time I saw Bill show some real heart, where he's like, be careful out there. Basically, he's telling him, like, listen, keep your head down. I don't want to see anything bad happen to you. And to me, that was a moment where Bill's starting to show some redemption, or at least showing that he's got a conscience. What do you think, Matt?
No, and it kind of almost highlighted what I was seeing in the beginning. It's that, you see him kind of down in the dumps and have these internal struggles with himself, and then he uses it as a teaching moment for Lee to be like, hey man, like, I've been through some shit and I've really, really, really fucked up. Just so you're aware, like, don't do this. Like, stay away from what I've done. I'm telling you this because I've walked through it. And it's just, this is how it is. Please don't do no stupid shit, and don't be a hero. So it was again, like you were saying, it was a touching moment because it shows more reasons why he does some of the fucked up shit, or why he's completely ignorant and doesn't care about why he does some of the fucked up shit. So it, again, more weight, because we can't go a show without saying weight with characters here about Warrior. Like, it just adds another layer to Bill's character. Yeah,
just goes to show JT is the best writer in the business. Like, I'm ready to almost give him that monarchy, or that title above Aaron Sorkin on my lexicon or on my list of the greatest showrunners and greatest writers in Hollywood right now. Tropper is just, oh my God, he's head and shoulders above everybody else when it comes to characters. Rebecca, what are you thinking? What was your overall thought of this episode as we kind of wrap up here?
Well, let's see. The White Mountain.
And being from Welland, I thought the White Mountain was going to have something to do with cocaine, but it had nothing at all to do with cocaine. So, Rebecca, she's like, I'm from Brazil. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it has to be. What else? I mean, I don't know. They sell opium. Youngjun and Atoy have some smoke herbs, something like that. So White Mountain, I was thinking like maybe. I don't know the historical context about cocaine. I don't know when it began to happen.
Yeah,
so
me neither. I was just making a bad joke.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I wasn't thinking about cocaine. I thought it might be some, I don't know, Chinese, some Chinese, story, about a mountain with Confucian thing,
Yo, Confucius never said that.
Yeah, that's Confucius never
that's
said
it.
that. That's awesome. What did you think of this episode, Matt?
The Yellow Demon.
The Yellow Demon.
No, it's funny, and the reason why, like, where this all kind of stemmed from, honestly, and why I've always said it the way that I've said it. So the backstory was after that episode came out, and then I heard this fucking, like, the nickname, and I was like, that is the illest fucking nickname I've ever heard in my life. And then again, me and my brother were supposed to watch it around the same time, and I was like, so I'm already on like episode 5. Like, well, what the fuck, dude? And I was just like, get to episode 4. I was like, yo, Bolo's nickname is so insane. And he was just like, all right. You finally guess who he's like. He texts in like big bold ass fucking letters in a text. The Yellow Demon. And then we meet up at the gym. And like the next day, we just happened to randomly be there within the same time, and that's all we would just fucking say to each other, like, "Oh, the fucking Yellow Demon, this shit is." So it just stuck, and then I would just like always say it in that tone of voice, and then this is how it's carried on to your show now, and now this will haunt fucking Rich's dreams forever.
Forever. Rich is going to go to bed and hearing your voice saying,
The Yellow Demon.
He's gonna be like, yo, I fucking hate this guy. Like, I'm never gonna unhear this now.
Well, I gotta tell you, what a wicked episode this was.
This was a solid episode.
Like Richie Ting on the show today, and Richie brought it. I felt bad because I'm trying to get him out of here right at the top of the hour, and Richie kept going. Like if he was late, that was on Rich because Rich was having fun here.
He was having fun.
He was having a good time.
He was having fun.
He's such a good guy, my boy, as I say.
That's that humble brag. That's you. That's all you.
What I keep
I think
saying,
he's all our boy at this point.
I keep saying this is the most generous cast ever. They are so generous with us, with fans, with the interviewers.
They're so good. Now we just need to get a couple more of them onto the Hope This Wei show.
I just realized now I kind of need a status with Rich because fucking Zeus, you his homeboy, and he knows Rebecca is like the number one fan. It's like, fuck, now I need something. Like
you're the white demon. You're the white demon.
You're the voice.
I'm the beige bastard.
You're the beige bastard.
I'm the beige bastard.
The beige beast.
Hell no. You see how built that motherfucking Rich is? I can't be a beast yet. I gotta like exceed his fucking physique to be like, yeah, I'm the beige beast.
Well, just follow the Rich Ting workout regimen if you can keep up. Because that don't stop. He don't stop.
No,
he
I'll
don't
pass.
stop ever.
Oh, I'll pass. That man got his. He's solid.
Well, like I said, this week was fucking dope. I am as cool as it was having Rich on here, and I don't think we could like really top that next week with star power. But holy shit, am I ever looking forward to reviewing episode 5.
I loved that episode.
The most talked about episode in the entire series. Anyone you talk to who's watched the entire series, everyone always brings up episode 5 of season 1. I'm not saying it's the favorite amongst everyone, but it is the most talked about. It's that one that's universally loved by everybody.
Compared to the Avengers moment, which, but
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The Avengers moment was I know.
That whole episode was but
yes. When we keep stealing that from Kevin Smith, I'm sorry. We're crossing all the genres. But to Kevin Smith, that's Jeff's kiss.
Well, this is a melting pot of everyone just within this podcast, so it's only fitting.
Well, as usual, I want to say thank you to you, Matt, and to you, Rebecca, for allowing me to helm this show for us all. I say it every week. It still baffles my mind that the host of this show based on this Asian hit is a brother. But
fuck it.
But that just goes to show the love and how much and how universal this show really is. And it's not as much as it is a great show for Asian representation for those out there. It's representation for us all, though. It's one of those shows that it speaks about all the shit that's happening today, that's been happening since then, that hasn't changed enough. And I love that Warrior is bringing that out there to everybody to kind of think about. And let's just get rid of this fucking hate, man. Get rid of it all. Or if you don't get rid of the hate, we'll send Bolo to your house.
The Yellow Demon.
So I can't thank you enough for inviting me to be here, every time, and especially today with Rich. It's such an opportunity for me, and thank you so much. And we don't have anyone to talk about Warrior, so we have to talk to other people around the world.
Which is fine by me.
We feel like the only one in the neighborhood that watches it. Everyone has this kind of feeling,
Yeah.
I'm just surprised I've made it on 4 shows in a row and not have been banned. So, yeah.
No, I was waiting to episode 5 to ban you.
There you go.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, wait, if I'm Oh wait, no, I already spoiled it, so it doesn't matter. But he already spoiled it too, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I feel like we got to bring Richie back on for episode 7, though.
Yeah, and then if I'm your Bolo, then that's where we gonna end it.
that's where I kill you.
That's where it's finished for me.
Fair enough. Well, I want to say big thanks to both of you for coming on the show as you do every week. Thank you to Rich Ting taking the time out of his day to come in and sit with us, talk all things Bolo, all things Warrior. You truly are the Yellow Demon. And such a badass, honestly.
Hell yeah.
And to all the fans on my page, Ryan's All Things Geek, but all the fans on the Warrior group page and everyone else that tuned in, thank you so much. It's been another edition of the Hope This Wei Show. Peace out. And with that, Matt says, watch out for the
Yellow Demon.
Lots of love. Peace out, everyone. Have a great day. Bye now.
Bye.